Good morning, everybody. It's morning here. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm starting off my day with just a very easy walk. Just a few minutes of walking around my neighborhood, kind of wake up my body and my mind before I go sit down and watch the worship service. But I thought I would take you along for the day with me and share with you some of my tips and tricks for getting back on track if you have been off plan. So I've noticed in my comments on Instagram, in my digital communities, with my Weight Watcher buddies and with my pals in general, that everybody is dealing with the situation that we're in differently. Some people have done very well as far as staying on WW or whatever health regimen they're used to. Some people have fallen away from it, and maybe recently they've gotten back on track. Some people faltered in the beginning and struggled, but then they were able to kind of regain their footing. And I think there are some people out there who are still struggling to figure out how to turn it around now. We're coming into week 10, at least in my area, of this new normal for us. And that's actually a realization that I've had recently, that even though things are starting to open up a little bit in my area, we're starting to relax the rules a little bit, we aren't going to be going back to what normal was before this for I don't know, I think for a while. And that really made me realize that, hey, I can't wait to get it together, so to speak, to get back on plan, to get my WW act together until all of this is quote unquote over. Like, I need to learn to operate and to thrive within these circumstances that we're living in. So I'm actually fairly pleased with how I have navigated this situation. I've shared that with you guys a few times. Could I have done better? Absolutely. Could it have been worse? I know that it could have been worse for me. But I took a little break from WW last week. I was counting calories, and now I'm jumping back onto my program. I feel good. I feel better. I, ate some different things. I was suffering from a little bit of food fatigue, and I didn't go overboard, but I definitely, had some indulgences and just ate some different foods. And I also kind of reacquainted myself with portion sizes and things, because with calorie counting, I had to count everything. My fruits and vegetables, my whole grains, all of those 0-point foods. So I think it was good for me. But I'm getting back onto my program today, working the WW Purple program. And I thought I would just take you along and share some things that I have learned that help me whenever I am coming off of a few days, a few weeks, or even a few months of having been off plan. And my first tip for you might be the most important one, and that is start with one good day. Anytime I have come back from a vacation where I've not been tracking, or maybe I've been sick, or a family member has been sick, or it's been a holidays more likely, right? I sometimes get overwhelmed thinking about recommitting for 7 days or 7 weeks, or thinking about, wow, it's going to take me 2 months to shed this weight that I gained after I had surgery or something like that. And I have learned to really just focus on that first day. I can't go back and change what happened in previous days or previous weeks. It's done. It's no use beating myself up over it. It's no use worrying about tomorrow. I will not bite off more than I can chew. I will just take this one day at a time. And I have found that if I just focus on that one day, that very first day, that oftentimes it is a springboard into the next day, and then into the third day, and into the fourth day. And each day it gets a little easier as I'm reacquainting myself with my own boundaries and with my program to stay on track. And before I know it, I have 4, 5, 6 days, and I feel like I'm on a roll, and I'm really, back in the game, so to speak. So if you are watching this in the evening, you can make tomorrow be that one good day. If you are already in the middle of your day, maybe you're watching this at lunchtime and you've already had that high point coffee and donut for breakfast, you can still make today, the rest of today, be a really great day, okay? You can start right now. And even having that partial day could springboard you into a full, really good day tomorrow. So don't overwhelm yourself thinking about days and weeks and months of committing or recommitting to a plan. Just focus on one good day. I am just fixing myself some breakfast, and I thought this would be an opportunity to share my next tip for getting back on track, and that is go back to the basics. And I don't just mean the basic tenets of whatever program you're working. I mean, go back to the basics where food is concerned. Think about a time whenever you felt really good about the program that you're working. Think about a time when you felt really successful, really on plan, when you felt really in control, and think about the things that you were eating specifically during that time. Sometimes if you're a really good tracker, your tracker can be a great resource for this. You can go back, a few weeks or a few months, or if it was last summer or last season, whenever you remember just feeling really good about things, you can go back and look and see the things that you were eating. And it might jog your memory. It might remind you of some of your favorite products. It might remind you of some go-to recipes or go-to meals, or maybe you'll see some things that you're like, hey, I remember that I really like that, and I have all the ingredients for that in the pantry. And that goes along with what I'm having for breakfast, because I'm having my favorite peanut butter banana oatmeal. I've shown you guys this, I don't know, time and time again. I kind of grew tired of it for a while, so I haven't had it for a few weeks, but starting yesterday, I was really starting to crave it. So I decided that I would re-implement that I would go back to the basics with things that I eat frequently as I am trying to jump back into this program. And for me, this oatmeal is just quick cooking oats with a tablespoon of peanut butter, a few Lily's chocolate chips, and about half of a banana. I also sprinkle a little Himalayan pink salt on top of that. And for me, on the purple plant, it's 4 smart points, including the peanut butter. You guys might remember going way back to when I came back to WW back in like October or November, that sometimes I allow myself additional fats and full fat dairy, and I sometimes just track those against my fit points, or I don't put them into my tracker. But for now, I am tracking everything that I am eating. So that's what I'm having for breakfast today, and I thought that was a good opportunity to share that tip of going back to the basics whenever you're trying to get on track. I think it also helps us because we can make things we've already made before, eat things we've already eaten before. We know how many points they are, we know how to prepare them, and it helps us not be so overwhelmed, especially if we're thinking about the idea of what am I going to eat and do I need to eat new stuff? We don't have to. We can just go back to the basics. I am sitting at CVS. Again, I feel like I am always at CVS whenever I'm vlogging. I promise I don't come here every day. But for some reason, it seems like every time I'm doing a vlog, I've got to run up here and pick up, allergy meds for the kids, or in this case, a prescription. And I decided that I would run in and grab a few things, and it reminded me of something else that I sometimes try to focus on whenever I'm trying to get back on track with my weight loss or my weight maintenance, maintaining my weight. And that is to do something that feeds my soul or my mind or my heart, however you want to put it. Sometimes when I truly stop and think about things, I realize that I'm feeding myself with food when I'm really looking for some other kind of self-care. Sometimes I'm really tired or just exhausted and I need to carve out some time to have a little nap or just sit out on my patio and read a book. Sometimes I'm feeling lonely and I need to call a friend, or even just catch up on some of my favorite, YouTubers on their videos, because they're people, that I like and subscribe to and that help me feel not so alone in whatever it is that we're dealing with. Sometimes it's indulging in a hobby like doing a puzzle. Making videos for you guys is definitely something that feeds my soul. So sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll start to plan a video or even pick up the camera and start to film something. And it always lifts my spirits because once I post it, you guys start commenting and I can start to engage with you in the comment section. Today, I just really felt like getting out, and I'm sure there are other people that can understand that. One of the things that I have missed in this whole situation is being able to go out and run the errands. I know that sounds odd, but I kind of enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed checking things off my list. I enjoyed going to stores and browsing around and looking for the best deals. Summertime is a time when I usually try to stock up on like household goods and toiletries and personal care products and paper goods and stuff like that, so that I don't have to buy them as much during the school year whenever we're busier. And I typically do that by using coupons at places like CVS and Target, and I've even been doing some Dollar General deals. So since I had to come to CVS today anyway to pick up a prescription, I figured that I would run in and do some deals, and I got some great deals. I actually ended up spending just $9.04, including tax, for everything that you see pictured here. I'm not gonna go into how I did that. There's all kinds of couponing channels. I'm not like a crazy wall of toothpaste or garage full of toilet paper couponer or anything like that, but I just felt like, since I'm going to be in there anyway, I might as well do this. And it's not just, you know, the thrill of getting good deals on products that my family can use or that we can donate to other people who need them. It was just the desire to kind of be on my own and have some space that is my own, and, you know, just have some solitary time. So if you can find some way whenever you're getting back on track to do something that feeds your soul, to do something that really cares for yourself, sometimes, at least for me, it takes away the need for a snack or for a treat or for something else that was throwing me off track. So there's another tip for you guys. I am finally getting around to eating some lunch. I probably should have just waited for dinner, but I didn't think that was setting a very good example. This is something that I do all the time, especially on the purple plan. I kind of make these bowls, except mine is on a plate. And I start with the starch, and then I add a protein, and then I garnish it with something. So I had some brown rice and some black beans in the refrigerator that I'm trying to use up. So I have a little bit of that, maybe a half serving of each one. I had a little bit of a chicken breast, like maybe just 2 ounces of chicken breast we grilled the other night, and I chopped that up and put it on top. And then I topped that with 2 tablespoons. I garnished it with 2 tablespoons of this queso, which is 1 Smart Point. And I then will add some vegetables. I wish we had some roasted veggies left over, or I would sometimes eat this on a bed of like romaine or spinach or something, kind of make a salad out of it. But that is sort of a common way that I will make up something to eat. Like sometimes I'll do it with potatoes as the starch, and sometimes I'll use eggs as the protein. And it's also a good way to use up leftovers in the fridge. But I start with a starch, add a protein, garnish it, usually with some cheese or maybe some, you know, sour cream or something like that, or some kind of sauce. And then I'll add, you know, some veggies to the side as well. But that's my lunch, and I'm realizing now that it's only costing me 1 Smart Point. Normally I would try to find something else to put on top of it, like maybe some tortilla chips or something, but I'm kind of crunched for time, so I'm just gonna eat this. We're gonna have dinner in a few hours anyway. And also, this goes along with my point about going back to the basics. This is something that I do a lot whenever I'm working the plan. So I'm just kind of getting back to my usual way of eating and doing things. This is dinner tonight, and it is a family favorite, tried and true recipe. I've actually made a video specifically about this recipe. It's called turkey sausage pasta. I will leave that video linked up here in the corner. You can go and check it out. I'll also leave the recipe link in the description box. I used whole wheat pasta, tomatoes, there's turkey smoked sausage in there. I threw in a few black beans that we had in the refrigerator. And my portion is 6 Smart Points, and then I just have some roasted carrots. Had some carrots I needed to use up in the crisper, so I roasted those. So my dinner is 6 points and another tried and true basic recipe. Mr. Brick, you want to say hi? Hi. The kids request this all the time, so yummy. You guys, it is a beautiful spring evening in Tulsa, America. I mean, it could not be more perfect. The birds are chirping. The sun is setting beautifully behind me. The temperature is 75. There's no wind, no rain. It's just gorgeous. So I am out taking a little after dinner stroll, and that brings up my next tip for you if you're trying to get back on track on WW, or really any kind of, you know, health goal or plan. And that is to try to work just a little bit of light activity into your day. Now notice I said activity and not exercise, because the reason I think this is important is not so much from a calorie burning perspective, but from a mood boosting perspective. I really feel like getting just a little bit of activity, especially if you can get outside in the fresh air, I think that can be such a boost for our mood. And when we're in a good mood, we make better decisions. Now, I said light activity, you know, whatever you can manage, but don't overdo it, okay? Do not make drastic changes during this time when you're trying to get back on track. Maybe just a light stroll, maybe just, you know, walking back and forth to your mailbox a couple of times, maybe doing a little bit of light housework if you can't get outside. If you have not been exercising, this is not the time to go out and run a 5K, okay? When you're trying to get back on track, it is not the time to do some rigorous, sweaty workout at the gym that you are going to dread doing and that's gonna make you sore the next day. Just do a little bit to help, you know, that mindset, to help your mood, and to kind of get back into the swing of things where activity is concerned. Okay, you guys, it is getting on towards the end of the night. I just finished cleaning up my kitchen and mopping my floors and kind of resetting the house for the week that's coming. And I'm about to sit down and relax, and I'm gonna have a little snack and watch some TV before I go to bed. And I was looking at my tracker and I was thinking to myself, why do I only have 11 points so far? Normally I've used most, if not all of my points by this point in the day. And then I remembered that I forgot to track my snack this afternoon, which was a little bag of these poppables. They are 2 smart points. So I think that I have used 13 of my 16 daily smart points today. And actually that's going to help me drive home the point I'm about to make with my last tip for getting back on track if you've been off plan. So this one may seem counterintuitive, but just stick with me. My last tip for you is something that I have learned to do for myself when I am trying to get back on plan after being off, is not to over restrict. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes whenever I'm starting a new diet plan or whenever I'm jumping back on board with one that I'm familiar with, I can sometimes go to the extreme and I'll just go in guns a-blazing saying, I'm only gonna eat this much and I'm going to exercise so much, and I feel pretty miserable after a couple of days and I burn myself out really quickly. So especially if you have been eating more, I think it's a good idea to make sure that you're getting a decent amount of food. So use those 0-point foods, but also eat your daily points and maybe even dip into those fit points or those weekly points, at least for the first few days, so that you can work in some extra food or even some indulgences. If you're a person who enjoys sweets, if you're a person who enjoys treats, maybe it's not a great idea to just go cold turkey right out the gate. Maybe it's good to try to work some of those in, especially to pre-track them, even if it means going over your daily points and dipping into those fit points and those weekly points. So I am going to have an apple, and I've already made myself a cup of tea. I've been sipping on that while I have been working on housework. And I'm going to have some graham crackers and milk. And the apple's gonna cost me $0, but the graham crackers and milk, I'm not gonna eat this many. I'm just gonna eat a couple of the graham crackers. The graham crackers and milk will cost me 5 smart points. So that will actually put me at 18 smart points for the day, which is 2 smart points over my daily allowance. But I'm not worried about that. I have fit points, I have weekly points, and I am okay using a few of those, especially in these first few days when I am getting back onto this plan, whenever I am just, trying to come back after a break. So there you have it, guys. That's my day. Thanks for coming along with me. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. And the things that I have learned to do to help myself get back on track after I've been off plan are to just start with one good day, to go back to the basics, to really remember all of the things that I enjoyed eating when I was really loving the plan. Number 3, to do something to feed my soul. Number 4, to get a little bit of light activity if possible. And number 5, not to over restrict, even if it means going over my points a little bit in those first couple days, but especially eating all of my daily points for sure. Okay, that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching. Leave me a comment and let me know how you are doing. And if you have any tips and tricks to share with us, we would love to hear them. So see you guys next time. Bye.